docking bay.
Okay, we got all that situated. We got all the controls situated. We got the manage your stream from your phone situated. So we'll hit the doop doop button to figure itself out. Alright, hold on. Pausing of the game.
This facility offers a range of services. Check your information panel after docking for more details.
Now that we have like remotes and shit set up, and we can actually see, let's continue where we left our intrepid hero off. Of trying to get that cutter, or at least the rank for that cutter. Am I Koska call? I don't have any missions right now, don't I? Just some intel points. We are 13% Marquis. We're getting there. We're getting there. That's what I want. Simple little donate mission. 135 units of Rubetite. Buy yourself some ranks.
Incoming mission critical message.
Oh no, you got another mission for me? That's fine. I don't care. Turn. Oh, hey, look, another donate mission. Deliver 2 units. But they are not rep +5, so we're not going to effort that. Up to 14%. Sounded like she said sheep released. We are releasing the sheep. Prepare yourselves.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, there it is. It seems like things are off center, off cue.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Very shiny pole. No, not very shiny pole. Shiny poles and that shiny pole and the black depths of space. Who'da thunk? Hey, look, I was right. It's another Diamondback Explorer. He's doing other Diamondback Explorer things. That's not. That's not what I was. That's not where we're headed. I don't care about encoded emissions. There be pirates. No, it's a hauler. It's doing hauler things. It might be hauling things. Fun emergent gameplay here of flying out of place, doing a thing. Hit plate automatically populated with recent galleon entries. You mean none of them? The 0 Galnet entries that we had. There's a Galnet, it hasn't been a thing for months now. Rest in peace, Galnet.
Oscar Hotel. The Empire cordially welcomes you to our
Approval granted. Set course for landing pad 27.
Scan detected.
That's fine. You can scam me all day. You will find nothing. Nothing! Mainly because there's nothing in the ship. It's my exploration / jumping around the bubble ship.
Landing gear deployed.
Ow, there's a wall there. Right.
Landing complete. You may alight when ready. We trust this facility will serve you well, Commander.
Do you? Interesting. Ooh.
Welcome to
How
our
wanted this ship was. Right, back to the mission board. Gonna donate a bunch of money to the cause. How much is it? 180. Donate a bunch of money to the cause. Ooh, look, black box. Okay, well, there's some black box shit. So that'll fill out my meager cargo hold. If anybody's got any scan missions, I mean, I guess I'll throw money at you. That's just saying. Like, scan missions would be. I wanted to look at what was. Huh. It's an observatory. That is a surface. We're gonna accept that job. Are you going to the same location? No, you're going down. So we're gonna accept that job, and then we'll come back and be like, yo. You guys are going to escape. Okay, you're going to the same thing. Don't want to massacre pirates. Guys, I don't want to massacre pirates. Now I'm gonna switch
Mission critical message.
to the I will do scan jobs or surface installation shits. I will not do none of this tomfoolery with the massacring of the pirates or assassinating pirate lords. Come on now. Right. Should we do the trade mission just to get the money though? That would almost be Wow, these are great. Rep +5 mining goddamn missions. Supplier needs 72 units of industrial slaves. No, I'm too large. Bad problem to have, being too large. Oh, they changed! +4s, those are +4s. Come on, give me that beautiful +5. Alright. Well, we're going to eat something or other. Eat a sandwich. We're gonna call this eat a horology or eat a sandwich. I'm gonna click on that. Frederick observation. Oh, I bet that place doesn't have a, yeah. Doesn't have a commodities market. Well, sad day. Fill out our MT voice modulator with Backplot that I've heard like 60 times in the last few days, but oh my god, I've enjoyed background.
Ship released. You are clear for departure.
Since you know YouTube is touchy about music and you guys don't want to listen to me watch Netflix in the background. Although, wouldn't that be a thing? Netflix on the panel on the bottom, the other corner. Alright, we're gonna do the corporations.
Corporations. The
Frameshift drive charging.
grandest society of merchants in the universe. Self-applied description of the East India Company, 1600 to 1708. Corporations. Introduction. During the centuries in which humanity was confined to a single planet, corporations were naturally limited in size and influence. Like fish in a bowl, with access to a finite quantity of natural resources and a relatively small arena in which to compete, corporations couldn't achieve their full theoretical potential. But with the advent of
Mission critical message.
Oh no, there's an enemy.
interstellar travel, the fishbowl became an ocean. Corporations could access and exploit
Warning. Temperature critical.
entire planets for their mineral resources, and an expanding population eagerly colonizing system after system meant a growing customer base. To the governments of the time, the potential for corporate growth was both thrilling and terrifying. Commercial prosperity meant increased tax revenue and higher employment figures. but also raised the worrying prospect of security fleets that could rival the official militaries. It seemed inevitable that the largest corporations would, in time, become the equivalent of nation-states in their own right. With the old restrictions gone, there was simply nothing to stop them. Today, this vision has been partly fulfilled, with several corporations owning entire systems. For many corporate employees, the age-old distinction between a home and a workplace has vanished. Workers on corporate-owned ships, refineries, and outposts can expect to spend their entire lives in the embrace of the company. Despite their immense wealth and power, the corporations have thus far been content to operate within and remain subject to the jurisdictions of the Alliance, Empire, and Federation, rather than mount a serious challenge to any of them. Commentators point to two reasons for this. Firstly, corporations thrive by excelling in their chosen fields, and assuming the onerous responsibilities of a government would be a wasteful distraction from the corporate mission. Secondly, given that the corporations already hold much of the real power, especially in the Federation, there is nothing to be gained by abolishing the convenient veneer of the state. Better to operate below the surface, make a show of compliance, and trust in the power of money to smooth the way forward.
Yeah, smooth the way forward with money.
Corporations. The Achilles Corporation. Optimize, iterate, refine. Achilles is the market leader in computer technology and is particularly noted for developing the reliable, efficient navigation computers used by most starships. The fear of a hyperspace misjump following a computer malfunction, a nightmare scenario that Achilles capitalized on in its advertising, helped to cultivate strong brand loyalty in the company's early days. Achilles is also a pioneer in the field of robotics, meaning it has long been hampered by the interstellar ban on the development of self-aware artificial intelligence. In the late 3200s, rumors surfaced that the corporation was attempting to circumvent these restrictions by placing organically grown brains in robotic bodies. No evidence of any such activity has come to light, and Achilles board members have not deigned to dignify the rumors with a response. There has also been speculation that the company's leaders are extensively cybernetically enhanced, given their history of uncompromising takeovers
They're all
and corporate
robots.
machinations. Even their open business operations are characterized by ruthless efficiency, while their private dealings are rumored to involve everything from the blackmail of rival executives to assassination. Achilles' official line is that these rumors are sheer fantasy and a predictable, envious response to success. Nonetheless, the rumors persist, and Achilles' reputation is now so daunting that smaller corporations will roll over at the first sign of a takeover bid, rather than attempt to negotiate for better terms. Nobody wants to become the subject of a career-ending rumor.
Alright, so we're gonna slow down.
Corporations. Kane Massey. Because an honest day's work never
What's
goes
his
out of
face gonna
fashion.
come grab us?
Kane Massey stands as an example of the power of rebranding. During the fiercely competitive era that followed the first migration from Earth, the company's original incarnation, Howard,
We got this. We got it. We are faster than he is.
Kane and Calvert rapidly established itself as a profitable mining concern. Through a combination of nepotism and bribery, HC&C secured a federal guarantee of mining rights across several systems, with the caveat that failure to exploit the resources within a set time frame would result in forfeiture. In order to set up their mining operations as quickly as possible, HC&C cut corners on safety, skimped on equipment quality, and made exorbitant promises to potential employees.
Homie,
Promises
FBI.
that were later defaulted on. Workplace accidents, which were frequent, were hushed up. By the time these problems came to light, HC&C was a household name, and the fallout was severe. Token attempts at recompense were made, but the company's public image was badly tarnished. A merger with struggling but respected logistics firm Massey Haulage gave HC&C an opportunity to reinvent itself as the local mining company. The rebranded corporation, Kane Massey, presented itself as a salt-of-the-earth, blue-collar operation whose hard-working employees were treated with dignity. In an uncertain universe, so the
My right controller's
advertisements
touch battery is low.
Kane Massey would always be there for you. The campaign was a huge success. Today, Kane Massey is now widely perceived as an old-fashioned company that both understands and sticks up for the working man and woman.
Orbital flight engaged.
But despite this wholesome image, and although safety standards have improved, the company is as acquisitive and concerned with expansion as ever. Corporations, core dynamics, unmatched interstellar supremacy. Core Dynamics is a giant conglomerate, best known as one of the galaxy's premier manufacturers of weapon and surveillance systems and starships, with a particular focus on combat vessels. Its product line ranges from the diminutive Eagle to the gargantuan Farragut-class battlecruiser, and also includes the most popular skimmer in the galaxy, the S4 Sentry. The company is known for its occasional discount events, offering reduced-cost ships either in celebration of a new design or as incentives for participation in a community endeavor. Core Dynamics has a long-standing supply agreement with the Federation and is responsible for the Federal...
Lakon Juliet Oscar Hotel. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau is very pleased to receive you, Commander. Ground crew have been informed of your arrival. Approach safely.
Assault ship, corvette, dropship,
Scan detected.
and gunship. As part of this relationship, the company benefits from privileged access to federal black
Clearance denied.
data
Scan detected.
reserves, which it uses in its research and development branch. In the ongoing quest for more robust and effective ship designs, there is no substitute for data gleaned from genuine combat encounters. Corporations, Falcon de Lacy, bridging the stars for half a millennium. Falcon Manspace, originally a small military supply company, experienced
Landing gear deployed.
an overnight reversal of fortune when it released the Viper fighter, which proved popular with governments and private citizens
Oh,
alike.
because two orcas
Indeed,
had to come.
demand was so high that Falcon Manspace had to farm out Viper production to other companies under license.
Just gonna sit here
With
waiting
wealth
for these orcas
came
to take
innovation and a range of new designs. Like the Viper, these new ships were named after dangerous snakes. The Cobra marked the company's entry into the trader market, while the lightweight, versatile Sidewinder was designed principally as a reconnaissance craft. As the company's wealth grew, it began to absorb many of the companies to which it had previously granted manufacturing contracts. In almost all cases, the target company's close working relationship with Falcon Manspace made such acquisitions frictionless and mutually beneficial. In 2982, the corporation merged with one of the largest such manufacturers, de Lacy Shipworks, becoming Falcon de Lacy. The company pioneered the now standard
Thrusters
modular system of ship design that allows pilots to swap out components with ease. Significantly, the company made the schematics for the module.
Request denied. No landing pad availability. Please stand by, Commander.
The system freely available
Zit,
to its
zit,
manufacturing
her,
rivals,
her, there we
broadening
go.
the choice
Approval granted. Land on designated pad number 08.
of compatible modules available to pilots, and thus making the Falcon de Lacy marks more popular. Without this philosophy of component compatibility, spacecraft maintenance might have become a nightmarish scenario in which being unable to get the proper parts could leave a broken-down ship stranded in dry dock for weeks, or worse, subject to botched
Safe and secure. Execute system shut down. Have a pleasant visit, Commander.
Today, Falcon de Lacy stands out as one of the most enduring, widespread, and consistently admired corporations in colonized space. Public regard for the company is so high that the Alliance, Empire, and Federation have all made attempts to secure exclusivity to Falcon de Lacy starships. Thus far, their efforts have been unsuccessful. Corporations. Gutermeyer. Effortless elegance. Ship manufacturer Gutermeyer enjoys a supply agreement with the Empire, similar to that between Core Dynamics and the Federation. Gutermeyer is a far younger company, however, and was in fact created by the Empire. The company's ships are considered to embody Imperial opulence and are instantly recognizable for their sleek contours and distinctive silhouettes. Imperial Gutermeyer was chartered by Emperor Galen Trascan de Val in 3000 as part of a formal celebration of the millennium, in line with the Emperor's vision of an imperial renaissance in art, design, and architecture. The company's remit, overseen by shipwrights Jordan Blakestow and sculptor Amita Gutermeyer, was to produce a line of ships that will combine functional excellence with a distinct visual style. These would be offered for a limited period to select members of imperial noble houses as a mark of the Emperor's favor. Amita Gutermeyer's involvement was immediately apparent, a reputation having been established through well-regarded public artworks incorporating graceful, contoured forms. This helped to drive public demand for the ships, which became sought-after status symbols. Demand was so high that owners were forced to hire squadrons of mercenary escorts to prevent hijack. The Emperor promptly ordered Imperial Gutermeyer to go into full-time production and to make part of its range available for general purchase. From its inception, Gutermeyer has employed a coterie of accomplished Imperial artisans to ensure that their ships continue to reflect Amita Gutermeyer's aesthetic principles. When, in 3006, Amita Gutermeyer died in unexplained circumstances, she was interred in the Gutermeyer family crypt on Akana 6B.
Landing gear retracted.
Ship restraints retracted. Expedite climb to your exit altitude.
Corporations. Lakon Spaceways. Hard-working ships for hard-working people. Lakon Spaceways is a starship manufacturer specializing in sturdy vessels for cargo haulage and deep space exploration. They have a longer pedigree than most other ship manufacturers. Their first dedicated transport
Frameshift drive charging.
vessel having been built on Earth in the
4, 3, 2, 1.
26th century. The company's early models were characterized by the fact that they could be easily repaired away from port, a quality that has been retained to this day, despite the prevalence of affordable repair services. In 3303, Lakon entered into partnership with the Alliance to produce a range of military ships in response to the emerging Thargoid threat. As of 3304, this partnership has produced the Type 10 Defender, the Alliance Chieftain, the Alliance Crusader, and the Alliance Challenger. Lakon vessels tend to garner both praise and derision for their unpretentious, functional
Frameshift drive charging.
design, which is informed more by practical concerns than aesthetic considerations. Those who champion the chunky look of Lakon craft typically say that they prefer their ships to
3, 2, 1.
ships, not abstract sculptures. Corporations.
It says as I fly around
Mr.
on Type 7,
Mining.
which is essentially a brick.
300 years of reliability.
Objective detected. Incoming
In 2951,
message.
an Imperial senator named Guillaume Mastopoulos helped an Imperial group wrest control of a key set of mining rights from a federally backed partnership. Mastopoulos later took direct control of the mining operations, and under his and his daughter Nia's guidance, the company rapidly expanded. The Mastopoulos family was already held in great esteem for its patronage of the arts and loyalty to the Empire, and many Imperials were more than happy to do business with them. Accordingly, it was within the Empire that Mastopoulos gained the most ground, though the company also established operations in several independent systems. Much like the Empire itself, Mistopoulos has been under the control of a single dynasty for centuries. Rather than adopt conventional marketing strategy, it has opted to focus its corporate spotlight on the individuals in charge, thus
Well, that's
capitalizing on the
threat four.
imperial
Okay.
cultural regard for people of taste and status. The Mistopoulos family are trained from birth to play the part of charismatic aristocrats to the full, acting as ambassadors not only for the company, but for the Empire. In particular, they seek to demonstrate the viability and humanity of the imperial way of life as a direct ideological challenge to the Federation. The company's current head, Gabriela Mistopoulos, has gone out of her way to ensure that any slaves working for the company are exceptionally well treated. She also earned plaudits for a prisoner reform program that offered imperial prisoners at Jennings Hollow the chance to become corporate slaves and to earn a generous performance-related bonus. But despite the popularity of this gambit, Federal and Alliance citizens were quick to point out that a slave is still a slave, regardless of the generosity of the owner. Corporations. Saud Kruger. The finest for the best. To independent pilots, Saud Kruger is best known for luxurious passenger liners such as the Beluga, Dolphin and Orca, although the company also runs a tourism branch under the Astrogator brand. Saud Kruger started life as a yacht manufacturer in Bedaho, although the narrowness of the market curtailed the company's growth. When company director Stanislav Kruger purchased the struggling Astrogator touring company in 3270, he gave Saud Kruger a foothold in multiple star systems. Kruger then refurbished the Astrogator fleet and revamped the somewhat stale tour itinerary to give it a more adventurous, thrill-seeking flavor, which proved highly successful. Goldskin leather, sourced exclusively from the planet home in the Bedaho system, has been used in the interiors of Saud Kruger ships for years and is part of the company's distinctive aesthetic. Saud Kruger has the exclusive right to produce real goldskin, which comes embedded with coded nanoparticles that act as guarantors of authenticity. Saud Kruger also competes in the field of interstellar mapping and deep space exploration, and likes to emphasize the danger and glamour of exploring. The company's critics claim this approach risks transforming the vitally important field of space exploration into a pastime for the idle rich, thus alienating the many freelancers on whose hard work the discipline depends.
Man, I wish I was the idle rich. That would be great.
Corporations. The Sirius Corporation. Powering the galaxy. Of all the mega corporations to dominate civilized space, none compare to the wealth and influence of the Sirius Corporation. The rise of the Sirius Corporation began in 2339, when the organization launched a corporate colonization mission, the first of its kind, to the Sirius system. From there, the corporation went on to become the lead supplier of fuel and technologies to both the Empire and the Federation, catapulting it to powerhouse status. The corporation's promise
Mission objective detected.
to favor either
Cargo scoop deployed.
side in the event of conflict helped to cement its position. As the corporation grew, fuel supply and drive manufacture remained its core business, although judicious expansion into other markets supported its expansion. But the corporation's ascendance has not been without complication. In 3251, it introduced a technologically revolutionary passenger liner called the Antares, which it hoped would usher in a new age in interplanetary travel. Unfortunately, however, the ship disappeared during its maiden voyage. It was speculated that a failure in the ship's internal containment systems had destroyed the vessel, but it was not until 3302 that wreckage from the ship was recovered.
Under attack. Taking damage. Shields offline. Cannot comply. Warning. Hull breach attack. Taking internal damage. Cargo scoop retracted. Frameshift drive charging.
stalling the Sirius Corporation's plans to develop further superfast liners. But 3278 saw a reversal of fortune with the introduction of a new
Shields online.
faster drive system. The success of this new system more than made up for the losses that followed the Antares incident, propelling the organization to new heights. Today, the corporation has multiple divisions, many of them giant conglomerates
Frameshift drive charging.
themselves. But its primary focus remains the manufacture of fusion reactors, hyperdrives, and hyperdrive fuels. This division still operates under the banner of the Sirius Corporation.
3, 2, 1,
Though technically it is conducted by Sirius Hyperdrives, with the parent corporation acting as a holding company. The company's mining, industrial, and power divisions
warning. Temperature critical.
are its largest. Sirius Mining works closely with Sirius Industrial to produce specialist equipment for both planetary and asteroid mining, in addition to industrial smelters and refineries, atmospheric processing units, and waste processing reactors. Sirius Power produces generators ranging from 10 kilowatt devices to 100 gigawatt plants for industrial facilities and atmospheric processors. The Sirius Corporation maintains a large private fleet with which to defend its interests. The majority of its ships are supplied by Guatemala, although a proportion are manufactured under license in Sirius's own shipyards. The corporation controls dozens of star systems and has even created a governmental subdivision, Sirius Gov, dedicated to managing these systems. Indeed, it has been observed that the people of these systems enjoy better quality of life and greater personal security, courtesy of Sirius's private fleet than many independent systems. Corporations. The Rockforth Corporation. Living naturally. The Rockforth Corporation was founded in 2673 by the Rockforth family on Thompson's World, an unusually beautiful planet, similar in almost all respects to Earth. Thompson's World began as a federal colony, but by 2748, Rockforth controlled so much of the planet that it was able to claim outright ownership and secede from the Federation. In its early years, the Rockforth Corporation earned significant revenue from tourism and genuine, ground-grown food. The former facilitated by the rise of affordable interstellar travel. Today, it is a powerful interstellar corporation specializing in agriculture and tourism, with hundreds of corporate farms throughout federal space. It has also a reputation for being acquisitive, having bought up many of its client companies, beginning with a friendly takeover of the law firm Smith & Smith, now known as Rockforth Law. In 2730, Rockforth Law established the Rockforth Legal Academy on Thompson's World, now considered one of the best places in the galaxy to study federal law. Rockforth has always been eager to work with governing powers, both federal and independent, and has occasionally loaned out its private fleet to help repel external threats. The company has even sponsored election campaigns, including that of the infamously corrupt federal president, Isaac Gellin, in 2862.
Those corporations
Rather than being
doing
tarnished by
corporate
its
things.
association with Gellin, however, the company's reputation was enhanced, since it was Rockforth itself that exposed the president's corruption. Corporations.
Ships.
Universal Cartographics. Because it's there. Before the frameshift drive was developed, the exploration of space lacked a single coordinating agency. Governments and corporations had in-house exploration programs, but these were driven by the desire for fresh, exploitable territory rather than any humanitarian motive. Not unknown for these programs to enlist the help of freelance explorers, but as a class, these were seen
Lincoln, Julian Oscar Hotel. The Empire cordially welcomes you to our facility, friend.
as erratic and unreliable. The reputation of the freelance explorer was not helped by a rash of bogus data scandals, in which a pilot would present
Approval granted. Set course for landing pad 205.
paid impressive scan data from hitherto unexplored systems that was later discovered to be counterfeit. The remoteness of the systems meant that the deception was not discovered until much later. Much like the sea captains of old Earth, whose rutters were full of closely guarded secrets, the owners of authentic navigation data were reluctant to share it. Theft of such data was a particularly prevalent concern in the
Restrict speed to within safe operating limits. Fly safely.
late 2900s.
Landing gear
Look, lady, I
deployed.
got holes all over my ship
when
right
mistrust
now.
between
Trying to
the
get her down
Empire
on
and the
deck.
Federation was at its most intense. Officials on both sides would occasionally propose a shared databank as a means of bridging the divide, but mutual suspicion killed the idea before it could be implemented. The creation of the frameshift drive greatly increased the jump capability of even small ships, empowering individuals.
Landing complete. Execute system shutdown. We trust your facility will serve you well, Commander.
Become bona fide space explorers without the need for corporate or governmental sponsorship. The stage was set for a corporation to manage, coordinate, and distribute the incoming flood of navigation data.
Plus, I have a cleric.
Universal cartographics filled that niche, arising from the merger of Unified Infotech and Devane Bright Interstellar. Cynthia Sedaris, former head of Unified Infotech, chose the name Universal Cartographics to reflect the company's policy of making its data accessible to anyone who was willing to pay for it. Sophisticated security protocols developed at Unified Infotech ensured that all data sold to Universal Cartographics was sourced through legitimate scanning. This combination of reliability and accessibility made Universal Cartographics an instant success. The company's ethos,
Landing restraints retracted. Please exit the station safely and promptly.
discovery for its own sake, and championed the advancement of human knowledge, resonated with many independent explorers and continues to do so to this day. Corporations. Recon, an industry built to last. Recon Construction and Mining is one of the oldest interstellar
Frameshift drive charging.
corporations. It was founded
Speed restrictions lifted. Safe travels, Commander.
over 1,000 years ago, but still bears the name of its founder, Tobias Recon, who was a in the days prior to full automation. Raised on stories of horrific mining disasters, Recon ran his extraction business with safety and prudence as top priorities.
Mission objective detected.
The corporate motto at the time ran, "Losses can be repaired,
Fuel scoping.
and equipment can be repaired. Lives are irreplaceable." Generations later, this attitude of diligence
Fuel scoping complete.
and profiteering still ran strong in the company. It made Recon a compelling choice when corporations were looking to exploit the new opportunities presented by early deep space exploration. Extracting resources from asteroids, airless moons, and hazardous planets was an even more dangerous prospect than coal mining, and Recon's expertise did much to calm corporate nerves. Consequently, the company had a presence on almost all of the early federal chartered colony missions. Today, Recon specializes in the extraction of tantalum, a vital component in frameshift drives. The company is firmly established an alliance, federation, and independent territories, while its direct rival, Mastopoulos Mining, dominates in Imperial space. Tensions between the two corporations have been high since Recon accused Mastopoulos of covertly seeding key planets with tiny, promising tantalum deposits, in the expectation that Recon's thoroughgoing approach would prompt a full survey, thus tying up valuable resources. Mastopoulos has not offered an official response to assertions, though at a formal dinner in 3303, Eleanor Mastopoulos made a pointed reference to the etymological link deciding that it was not illegal to leave gifts on a neighbor's doorstep. Corporations. Worldcraft. Optimizing recreation. Based in the Epsilon Iridani system, Worldcraft has been the Federation's favorite tourism company for more than 300 years. The company began life as the Cisco Corporation, with tourist resources throughout human-occupied space. In the early parts of the 33rd century, it dramatically increased the scope of its operation and began terraforming planets to create dedicated resort worlds, an operation facilitated through the use of Free World Ventures Worldcraft atmospheric processing units. Eager to exclude competitors from the market, Cisco bought Free World Ventures in 3260 via a leveraged buyout, doubling the size of the corporation overnight. At the time, Cisco was associated with the seedier end of the holiday market, which had prevented the company from successfully entering Imperial space.
Mission objective detected.
Capitalizing on the acquisition of Free World Ventures and the
Cargo scope deployed.
vector forward to the Worldcraft brand, the company shrewdly rebranded itself Worldcraft with a capital C, in the hope of establishing a presence in Imperial space. Worldcraft offers experiences ranging from excursions into unspoiled natural environments where families can admire dazzling views from the safety of a rented luxury vessel to painstakingly detailed reconstructions of periods of human history, such as the Victorian London theme park and the
So what do you talk
Swords
about?
Swiggy medieval.
Under attack.
Still under attack. Mr. Police Forces, if you could. No. Okay, now we're going full ground. Well, that was fun.
Frameshift drive charging.
Evil reenactment experience. The Thargoids.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Human Thargoid contact. The Thargoids are a non-human race with a history of hostility towards humanity. The first recorded encounter with a Thargoid ship took place in 2859,
Mission objective detected.
although earlier undocumented encounters are believed to have taken place.
Fuel scoping.
In the years that followed, contact with lone Thargoid vessels was intermittently reported. Humanity clashed with the Thargoids in the 30s.
Warning. Temperature critical. Fuel scoping complete.
But details of the conflict remained scarce for many years, and it proved difficult to differentiate authentic encounters
Warning. Taking
Yep,
heat
I know, we're
damage.
taking heat damage. Just hold on a second.
from the sensationalist media stories of the time. The discovery of abandoned intergalactic naval reserve arm bases in 3303 did much to dispel the fog, however. The INRA, a joint federal imperial initiative established in 3193, was responsible for researching the Thargoids and developing technologies to counter their aggression. But the organization's lack of accountability meant that the details of its research did not come to light until years after its dissolution. Almost all of the reliable data concerning the Thargoids has been sourced from INRA facilities. This data, originally deemed highly confidential, was declassified in 3304, following a resolution from the federal government and an Imperial decree. Some controversy over the backing and funding of the INRA remains, however. The Thargoids Society. The INRA discovered that Thargoid society is organized into hives, with most Thargoids falling into three categories: queens, princesses,
System scan complete.
Oh, no.
drones. Queens function as reproducers, while drones serve to maintain a favorable environment for the rest of the hive. Thargoid hives can be vast, although it may be that some of the larger observed groups are in fact multiple, overlapping hives. Ultimately, little is known for sure. The average Thargoid queen is at least as intelligent as a human being, while the typical drone possesses a more rudimentary level of intelligence. Existing evidence suggests that queens have extremely long lifespans, living for hundreds or even thousands of years. The variable size of queens' neurocraniums suggests this might be an indicator of age. Little is known about the precise nature of Thargoid reproduction, but it is likely that queens can reproduce both sexually, with other queens, and asexually. It is thought that the latter method produces drones, while the former produces a new queen. Analysis of Thargoid specimens led some INRA researchers to believe that a new queen, or princess, becomes a full queen only once it has produced drones of its own. Significantly, queens are believed to be single-sex. The Thargoids' ability to reproduce asexually means that their populations can expand incredibly quickly, but it is thought that they deliberately restrict the size of the populace so as to not to deplete all available resources. There is evidence to suggest that this is sometimes achieved by culling older drones. INRA testing indicated that queens perceive drones as entirely expendable, presumably due to the ease with which they can be replaced. Indeed, a Thargoid queen appears to give no more thought to the loss of a drone than a human would an eyelash.
Interesting.
The Thargoids. Communication. The belief that Thargoids were capable of some form of extrasensory communication was often cited in the early years of human-Thargoid interaction. But prior to the discovery of INRA records, it was not fully understood. Professor Yuri Anslow of the INRA theorized that a Thargoid queen can communicate with the drones in its hive via a spread-spectrum electronic signal, and can use this signal to control the drones, and even to share their sensory input. Studies of battlefield footage certainly suggest some kind of near-instantaneous communication among Thargoids, and the presence of low-level radio noise in areas occupied by Thargoids indicates that they do indeed communicate via short-range electronic signals. Professor Anslow went on to claim that a queen could effectively see and hear through its drones, but her contemporaries were skeptical, dismissing the assertion as baseless. Professor Ishmael Palin, one of the galaxy's foremost experts on the Thargoids, has even gone so far as to denounce Anslow as a glory hound. Thargoids have been known to make staccato clicking noises with their mouthparts when in the presence of humans, punctuated with occasional hisses and buzzes. They've also been observed directing such noises at one another, albeit much less frequently. Professor Albert Tesreau, a founding member of the Joint Superpower Initiative, AEGIS, and a specialist in interspecies communication, has studied INRA audio logs and suggested that the sounds probably represent some kind of language due to the repetition of certain sound combinations. It is unclear why the Thargoids would sometimes choose to communicate with each other vocally, given their capacity for extrasensory communication. Professor Anslow suggested that the sounds could be designed to intimidate enemies or opponents, noting that Thargoids often produce them prior to combat. Thargoid ships have been observed emitting a complex array of sounds, and in some cases subtly changing color. The exact meaning of these behaviors has not been determined, but they appear
Mission objectives detected.
to correspond
Cargo scope deployed.
to different emotional states. What is not known is if these sounds are produced by the pilot and amplified by the ship, or emitted by the ship itself. If the sounds originate with the pilot, it would suggest some kind of physiological connection between pilot and vessel. Given the sophistication of Thargoid bioengineering, however, it is possible that the sounds come from the ship itself, and that Thargoid ships are able to feel and communicate to a limited degree. The hulls of Thargoid ships are typically emblazoned with one of several symbols, the meaning of which is unknown. Some have theorized that they could denote membership.
Frameshift drive charging.
Are we disrupted by the master?
2, 1.
Don't we think
Particular familial group, or possibly be an indicator of rank. The Thargoids. Physiology. Human understanding of Thargoid physiology is far from complete, but recovered INRA data has offered some insights into their nature. INRA records describe the average Thargoid as physically larger than a human being, and generally insectoid in appearance. Thargoid biology is carbon-based, using an RNA-like encoding for biological information, but Thargoid chemistry is based on ammonia rather than water. Consequently, while Thargoids can comfortably tolerate environments as cold as -80 degrees Celsius, they cannot withstand environments warmer than 45 degrees Celsius for long. According to notes compiled by Dr. Peregrine Hennig, an INRA researcher, Thargoids can survive for a significant time in the vacuum of space without apparent discomfort, and can tolerate radiation and extreme cold for far longer than a human. The Thargoids. Vulnerabilities. In 3151, the INRA developed a biological weapon known as the mycoid virus for use against the Thargoids. The virus was the result of an accidental discovery made by an INRA researcher, who noted that a particular strain of fungus was found to thrive on the hulls of Thargoid vessels, and appeared to be digesting the material of which the ship was made. The INRA refined the fungal strain and began experimenting on living Thargoids in their spacecraft. The mycoid proved to have deleterious effects on both, leading to the swift elimination of the Thargoids active in human-occupied space at the time. It is widely assumed that since the last human-Thargoid conflict, the Thargoids have developed an immunity to the mycoid virus. The Thargoids. Starships.
There goes our get-out-of-jail-free card.
Cargo scope deployed.
Thargoid vessels are radically different from anything produced by humanity, and are able to navigate hyperspace in ways that are not fully understood. They are also at least partly organic, meaning that they can self-repair or heal over time. Ship function in general, and this restorative ability in particular, have been shown to be dependent upon the so-called Thargoid heart, a biomechanical organ found in varying quantities in different Thargoid ships. These hearts often survive the destruction of the ship, enabling them to be salvaged, although they can also be targeted and damaged with appropriate weaponry. They are highly
Scan detected.
corrosive and require
Target destroyed. Cargo scope detected. Frameshift drive charging.
Thargoid vessels that have sustained combat damage exhibit scar-like patterns. Given that Thargoid technology is sophisticated enough for such damage to be repaired, it follows that Thargoids might deliberately choose to preserve these scars. INRA logs document an encounter.
4,
Wait.
2,
Wait.
1. Engage.
The Thargoid mothership many times larger than other Thargoid craft, against which the mycoid virus was successfully deployed, although no such vessels have been reported in recent times. The Thargoids. Structures. Dozens of planets in human-occupied space are peppered with Thargoid barnacles, biological resource extractors that convert minerals into meta-alloys, a key component to the creation of Thargoid vehicles and technology. Theories that these barnacles have been genetically engineered by the Thargoids have yet to be verified. Larger structures, referred to as Thargoid surface sites, have also been discovered. These
We're
sites
gonna
typically consist
hop
of a
away and grab another
spiral-shaped
soda. I will be
structure
right back.
nestling within a shallow crater, beneath which lies a series of tunnels. At the heart of this subsurface network is a device that, once activated, emits a holographic star map. The sites are patrolled by semi-sentient biomechanical entities called scavengers. The Thargoids, war with the Guardians. Archaeological records have revealed that the extinct, non-human civilization known as the Guardians experienced conflict with the Thargoids many thousands of years ago. Logs recovered from Guardian sites indicate that the Thargoids were the aggressor in this conflict. Having seeded Guardian space with biomechanical constructs used for resource extraction long before the emergence of the Guardian civilization, the Thargoids apparently believed they were entitled to uncontested dominion of the territory. The Guardians attempted to communicate with the Thargoids and reach a compromise, but without success. Over the course of the conflict, the Guardians developed new technologies to give them an advantage against the Thargoids. These technologies were apparently successful, forcing the Thargoids to abandon their offensive. The Thargoids. Agenda. Thargoids do not attack indiscriminately, and their choice of targets shows them to be highly intelligent. They have also conducted targeted strikes on Aegis facilities and attacked pilots carrying Thargoid items in their cargo holds, indicating that they know they are being studied and want to halt the process. But despite their evident intelligence, they appear to be completely uninterested in meaningful communication. The engineer Ramtar, who has extensively researched the Guardians and their war with the Thargoids, holds the view that Thargoid aggression is a product of territorialism. They seed an area with barnacles, thus laying claim to it, and return, sometimes many centuries later, to harvest the extracted resources. Any
Cargo scope deployed.
advanced enough to compete with them for the territory is treated as an enemy and summarily attacked. Professor Palin concurs with this view, adding that the Thargoids are apparently so determined to eliminate any threats to their long-term survival, they will not tolerate any advancement.
Cargo hold at maximum capacity.
Species
Critical
in close
mass.
proximity.
Cargo scope. Frameshift drive charging.
landing procedures within your allocated time slot. Approval granted. Please make your way to landing pad 207.
Landing gear deployed.
To this facility. Please arrive on time assigned to your vessel only.
Touchdown confirmed. You may alight when ready. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau wishes you a pleasant and productive visit, Commander.
It is with sincere apologies that we must remind you that access to the docking bay is restricted to authorized pilots only.
Incoming message.
With regret, we must inform pilots that unauthorized docking bay access is unacceptable and will dictate an appropriate response. Once your vessel has been authorized for entry, we appreciate your comments in arriving at the correct docking pad. Welcome to our Starport and Imperial Embrace of Imperial service. We are pleased to offer a wide range of vessels with unparalleled quality.
Landing gear retracted.
Ship released. You are reminded to observe safe speeds when traversing the docking bay.
Frameshift drive charging.
Speed restrictions listed. Imperial Flight Operations Bureau wish you a safe onward journey.
Ready to engage. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Fuel scooping. Warning. Temperature critical. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Incoming mission critical message. Fuel scoping. Fuel scope disengaged. Incoming mission critical message. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. flight engaged. Incoming mission critical message. Warning, temperature critical. Fuel scooping complete. Frame shift drive charging. mission critical message. threat engaged. Incoming mission critical message. Incoming message. Under attack. Trespass zone cleared. Incoming mission critical message. Bounty incurred. Incoming mission critical message. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Incoming mission critical message. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Incoming mission critical message. System scan complete. Incoming message. Incoming mission critical message. Trespassing clear. Urgently cleared. Incoming mission critical message. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Fuel scooping. System scan complete. Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Shift drive charging.
Once your vessel has received docking permission, your promptness in alighting is greatly appreciated.
Landing complete. Execute system shutdown. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau wishes you a pleasant and productive visit, Commander.
Once your vessel has been authorized for entry, we appreciate your promptness in alighting at the correct docking terminal.
ready.
Organization.
Frameshift drive charging.
You are now clear of the station. Imperial Flight Operations Bureau now signing off.
4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Fuse open. Fuse opening complete. Warning. Temperature critical.
Jesus, the mic has been off this whole time. What? Probably been playing for like 2 hours with the mic off and nobody has said anything. But it's fine. we gotta actually slow down from that. That would help. That means my big rant up against fucking crime and punishment went unheard. That's fine. Professional streamer, I know what the fuck is up. I'm not being slowed down. I mean, I am being slowed down, but that's intentional. Come on, slow me down faster. No, I'm gonna overshoot this. Is it the one on the other side of the planet? Yeah, it's the one on the other side of the planet. Wanted Type 6? What these wanted Type 6 all around?
Orbital flight engaged.
And you're not gonna move because you're a fucking surface port. You stay in that spot.
Maya, Juliet Oscar Hotel. The Empire cordially welcomes you and speaks to friend. Please complete landing procedures within your allocated time slot.
Landing gear deployed.
Approval granted. Please make your way to landing pad 02.
Oh, dang it. It was almost graceful. Then it just wasn't. Now my ship's just like crashing and everything. Come on. There we go. In my defense, it is the drift from the joysticks.
Landing complete. Systems offline. Greetings, Commander.
Incoming message.
Message. Hey, we hate you. Please shut up. Yeah. As much as I like your little deliver 2 things of 2. No system data, but also I can't purchase system data? What? I don't... Fuck it. Oh, there's a planetary station. Anyway, 33%. Good fucking riddance. We're a third of the way there. But I'm actually gonna call it for a while. I might actually get back on later tonight.
Hypothetically.